So let's talk about water. So for water signs, this is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You're feeling a lot. You're sensitive. You pick up on gut feelings, intuition. You might cry really easily. You can be like very emotional, like you can show a lot of emotions. So water signs, they need a chance to like express that and not feel like shut down about it. And they just, yeah, they are going to be sensitive. They are going to be more like susceptible to what's going on around them with all the emotions, and it affects them a lot more than other people. So it's good to know this if you have a child that has a moon sign in one of the water elements, because they are really going to be like having all the feels these like couple months going into back to school. And that's normal, right? That should be like good for you to understand that they're reacting in a way that they were born into the world that way, and that you can validate that and just give them space to express that. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Monica Virga Alborno, and this is the Wand Her Wild podcast, a space for modern mothers reclaiming their wild, living with intention, and redefining what it means to feel fulfilled while raising a family. Here we explore mindful motherhood, conscious parenting, feminine rhythms, and the power of self-discovery. Guided by curiosity, we share honest stories, soulful conversations, and actionable steps you can weave into your full everyday life. Hi, and welcome back. We have been away for a couple weeks, if you didn't notice, during the shuffle of the summer. And I'm excited to kind of start in again on this. And if you're listening, you can now actually go and watch this as well on YouTube. And shout out to our new team member, Danny, who has now been added to the Wand Her Wild team. She's going to be helping me edit and really just elevate these podcasts for you so that we get to have more guests on that are really aligned, that you'd love to hear from, and that I can also spend some more time creating episodes for you that just bring you a lot of value while you're on the go during this season we're moving into. So welcome today, and I'm really excited to talk about this subject, astrology, birth charts, and how they can help you understand your kids better. If you don't know, you probably have heard me say this before. I am an engineer. I studied petroleum and natural gas engineering. And I have been, I would say, like pretty much my whole life, really into math and science. Physics being, a big piece of that. And for me, it made sense pretty early on that the planets and what was in the sky would have an effect on us. Because physics, we know that there's these forces at play all around us all the time that we just can't see. And so we're all orbiting around the sun, us on Earth and the planets. And it would just make sense that, they're probably subtly, I would say, impacting us, but at the same way, it is pretty powerful when you start digging into how they connect to each of us individually. And so I want to talk about it a little bit. And just bear with me if you're not a believer, but it's just another tool to have in your pool, right? And especially now that we're moving into the back to school season and things can just feel a little bit overwhelming for some. There's a lot more, can also feel good for some of us. We get back into routines. There's usually a lot more on our schedule again than we had in the summer, and more obligations that we have to do. Sports are happening. Even if your kids are not in grade school yet, there's usually still a transition back into something new or maybe familiar again. So it's affecting all of us, and I would love to just kind of share what I know about astrology. And if you're listening and saying like, well, Monica, what do you know about astrology? This is new for me. And about a year ago now, I started to kind of study astrology as a professional, and I'm not like doing anything with it professionally, but I just really wanted to get the educational insight from it, and versus just reading about it, but also learning it. So I did take an applied astrology course up to level 2 right now. And then I've kind of just been practicing a bit on it and wanted to share, I think, some things that are calling to me right now, just thinking about my kids and this time of the year, that might also be helpful for you. So what I want to say about this is, if you don't know what a birth chart is, every single one of us has a unique birth chart, like similar to a snowflake. So you were born in this world at a certain time, and every single person has a chart based on where you were, so your coordinates on the earth. And so, like, similar to a snowflake, all of us have an individual birth chart from the time we were born. You were born at a certain place with certain coordinates on the earth, a certain time, and also a certain date. So if you know that, you can get your birth chart. And so if you're listening to this and you don't know what your birth chart is, or your kids, I first did this for my daughter and I just kind of always get these weird whispers or things that call to me to like check out. And around the time my daughter was born was during COVID. So Mahira was born in October of 2020. And I ended up getting a reading for her and I, a synastry reading, to kind of understand how our soul's plans go together. And that's how I originally got into this. But if you haven't done anything like that before, it's also okay. There's some really cool apps out there. So one, I don't have like an affiliate or anything with this, but The Pattern is one that you can check out. It's an app that you can download on your phone. There's also probably a ton of other ones out there, but I would not recommend using AI, because I did kind of dabble with AI right before I started recording this to just see if I could tell you to just type in your time and see if it would give it to you, but it won't. So just I would not put in your birth chart information and see if you'll get a chart out from AI, because what I could see was that it's not accurate. So you really should go to an expert or one of these apps or tools that has been created by an astrologer. So I use The Pattern, and it's really cool. It will also, you can put your family in there as well, and you can kind of see if everyone has different things happening, if there's overlaps with the way that you're feeling right now, or different life transitions that you're going through, whatever it might be. There's like this underlying tone to a lot of us that are happening anytime during the year. And that would just help you at least understand what your birth chart is. So you can pause and look for it, or if not, I can also just kind of explain a little bit about what we're going to go through. So everyone's birth chart, you have a sun sign, you have a moon sign, you have a rising sign or your ascendant, and you also have every planet falls in a sign. And these things are all going to affect you differently. And what I want to talk about directly related to the school season coming in is our children's signs, and how you can just understand a little bit more about what each one of them might be feeling this time of the year. And so specifically, if you know your child's moon sign, so our moon sign is our emotional, our inner emotion. So it's just like how you feel inside is the easiest way to explain it. And so all of us we have a sign, but those signs fall under 4 elements. So just to keep it easy, you're either going to be an earth, an air, a water, or a fire. And so your emotions, the way that you react to things, will be one of those elements. And so that depends on your sign. So you can see that really easily. Like if you look in your kid's birth chart and you see that their moon sign is Virgo, then that means they're earth element. And so that will tell you that the way that they're processing their emotions and the way that they're feeling, they're most comfortable with that when they have like the ability to ground, like anything to do with the earth. So like grounding, being in nature, those are kind of the main things, like having an ability to just like ground down, like be home, kind of like a homey feeling, a place of just like a grounding presence. So that's just like one example, but everybody will have a different one. And so the moon sign is really important, because that will just show you how your kids are feeling this time of the year when you're stepping through all these new things. Like if they're getting back into a classroom where they're reconnecting with friends or meeting new people, and their emotions are a certain way, but maybe they're not able to get that at school all day. So at school, we generally don't spend a lot of time outdoors in nature if we're talking about like the earth sign, the earth element. And so maybe you can give your kid more opportunities to get outside. If it's either in the morning before you go to school, maybe you spend a few moments outside barefoot, or just like have breakfast outside on your deck before you go, or in the afternoons, like you're having opportunities to maybe just go for a walk in the forest or something. That would be really good for somebody that has a moon sign that is under the element of earth, where you need that connection to the earth, to that grounding ability. And that's how your emotions really feel their best, when you get that. So that's the moon sign. And then we can just talk about maybe the other like the other 3 elements that I didn't mention. So everyone's sign will fall under an element again. So if you are okay, so let's think about this. So the water signs are, if you are a Cancer, if you're a Scorpio, or you're a Pisces, you are a water sign. So I'll go over water, and then we just went through earth. So if you think about the earth signs are Taurus, they're Virgo, and they are Capricorn. So if you're any of those signs in your moon, then you are you are an earth element for those. So let's talk about water. So for water signs, this is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You're feeling a lot. You're sensitive. You pick up on gut feelings, intuition. You might cry really easily. You can be like very emotional, like you can show a lot of emotions. So water signs, they need a chance to like express that and not feel like shut down about it. And they just, yeah, they are going to be sensitive. They are going to be more like susceptible to what's going on around them with all the emotions, and it affects them a lot more than other people. So it's good to know this if you have a child that has a moon sign in one of the water elements, because they are really going to be like having all the feels these like couple months going into back to school. And that's normal, right? That should be like good for you to understand that they're reacting in a way that they were born into the world that way, and that you can validate that and just give them space to express that. And then for fire, okay, let's talk about fire. So fire is if you have a moon sign in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And for fire, I mean, similar to what you could think of with the fire, is like you are like a ball of energy. You like to be active, you might be like loud and a bit outspoken, and you really need to like move and get around. So this can be difficult, right? If you go back to a classroom and you're sitting all day, you might have a lot of energy that's like bottled up that you need to get out. So as a parent, knowing this, your child really needs that space to move and get active, or also just like use their voice and get loud and speak. So giving them opportunities to do that, if it's like an after school program, or you're doing something either before or after school, or on the weekends, right, where you can give them opportunities to maybe go on a really long family hike and just get that movement for them that they need. So that is for the fire sign of the elements. And then the last one that we didn't touch on is air. So air is if you have a moon sign in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And air, so you can think like air, like you want to talk a lot. You really you're strong at communicating. You have a lot of ideas. You have a lot of you're just like thinking fast, communicating fast, talking a lot. And again, school doesn't always allow you to do that, right? A lot of times you have to sit really quietly, wait to raise your hand, to speak. And you only get these little short periods during the day in a formal classroom setting anyway, during lunch or after school or wherever it might be, to really talk and communicate. And so it's good to know if your child has a moon sign. And by the way, the sun and moon, I would say like it's good to know both if you want, because it's still going to affect them. But the moon is like their emotions inside, like what they really, really need inside that you might not necessarily like pick up on. The sun sign are probably things that are really strong about their personality already that you would know. You probably also are going to realize the moon one being their parent. But anyway, so for air, yeah, giving them opportunities to communicate. If they want to sit down when they come home from their day and tell you all about it, like the rundown, minute by minute, hour by hour, or they just have a lot of ideas and things to share about their day, like giving them opportunities to have that space to talk is really going to help them. And so yeah, so that is kind of what I wanted to share, just a little insight on how you can use your kids' signs, specifically from their birth chart, connect that to the elements, and then understand how the elements affect all of our emotional temperaments. And if this is fascinating to you, I would love to share more. And I'm actually right now hoping to do something. If you are interested in learning more about your kids' specific charts and how this is affecting them right now over the next couple months, I would love to give you a short little reading. And I'm doing this completely free because right now I'm just practicing this. And so if you want to sign up, I'm going to put a link here next to the episode. You can sign up. The first 10 people who sign up, you can get a free reading. And what I will do is you just need to give me your kids' birth information. So we have their place they were born, the date and the time, completely confidential. Just I'm going to see it. And with that, I will look at your child's birth chart. You can give me all your kids and yourself too. And I will let you know where their moon sign is, where their Mercury sign is as well, because where is Mercury falling under? What sign? Because that will also tell you a lot about how they like to communicate. And that's really important too, as well, like how they're going to communicate with their peers, their teachers, like also just how your communication style is with one another. And then I'll give you a couple specific personalized suggestions on things that could help all of you in your family this season that is based on your birth charts. And so if you want to do that, you can follow the link. And the only thing I would ask in return is if you could leave us a rating for our podcast. That would be so, so helpful. So if you want to get a free reading, that's the exchange. It's just please leave us a review and would be so appreciative for that. That's all I have for today. And I hope this really helped you, and sending you lots of love. And this can be a season that is a bit tough for all of us. It's also kind of nice to get back to those routines, and it's before that big push of all the holiday things happening. So I'm hoping you're soaking up the last few weeks of summer wherever you are in the world, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for being here and for listening.